Welcome to the Remote Work Life podcast, where real-world remote work CEOs and leaders talk about how they collaborate, thrive, and build their businesses. Join me and thousands of followers from around the world to learn skills you need to work online from anywhere. I'm your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell. I'm an interview coach and tech recruiter on a mission to help you gain clarity and direction in your career and uncover hidden jobs through one-to-one and group coaching. And today I just wanted to introduce you to the CEO of GravitasQ, Dipesh Pattni, and the quite unusual way in which he goes about getting his thinking time so he can be as productive as possible. So listen in and see what you think. I thought it was rather funny at the time, but we all have our ways and methods, but see what you think of his method.
So I basically got frustrated looking at that blank PowerPoint. I went and turned on the PlayStation during the working day, started playing FIFA for about an hour and a half. My wife comes in and she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? We've got a mortgage to pay. And I'm like, and I said to her, "What are you talking about?" And then she's like, "How can you be playing PlayStation when you're building this business and you're saying how important it is, and you told me just last night how you've got a proposal you need to get done by the end of today." Right, and I was like, look, basically, I was like, just leave me alone. I'm thinking, and that's actually when I discovered my process. Because so when you go to work, you always have to get on the train. I had a 1 hour commute on a train.
There's a set way of doing it, isn't there?
Yeah. So what would happen is that I've already started planning. I've already done the audits and the downloads, and I already know what information I need, right? So on the train, I've already started planning what my slides are going to look like, right? So by the time I've then gone through that process for that 1 hour on the train, I then got to work and said, I need to knock out this proposal, and I need to get this proposal done so that it's ready for today or tomorrow or this week or whatever. I'm very quick at it because I've already visualized what it's going to look like in my head.
So that was the CEO of GravitasQ, Dipesh Pattni there. And one of my favorite interviews, because I just love how candid and how generous Dipesh was about sharing his methods and sharing the way he goes about work and some of the impacts it had on his life and also obviously on his work as well. But obviously, from things like that, you can learn a lot, can't you? And there's a few things that I learned from listening to Dipesh and obviously listening to others in terms of how they go about their work. And just wanted to share those points with you now. And one of those points is, and again, which I know Dipesh is an advocate for, which is planning your day. You really have to plan what you're doing for the day, for the working day. Even more so now that we have probably more responsibilities than we ever have had before. Obviously, all the best plans don't always go the way you want them to go, but always have your work planned out for the day. And I know that Dipesh was very much into, or is very much into, planning what he's doing for the day. So have a plan laid out so you know what's coming, what you've got to do for the next day. I usually plan for the following day. Obviously, I have a much more high level plan, but I plan from day to day as well as you probably do anyway. Second point, share your plan, share your schedule for that particular day with people around you, and I think that's really important. So let people around you, let people in your team have an oversight of your plan. You don't have to give them the details of each plan. It could be a calendar which shows when you're free and a calendar which shows when you're not free. For example, you don't have to go into the details of what you're doing. You don't have to share every little sort of grain of information from your plan, but just let people know, not just within your team, but within your household, they know what you're doing at any given time. So, for example, if you're on a call, they can see that they shouldn't disturb you for that particular time. So that's something that I learned as well, and something that I do anyway, and generally speaking, you probably do yourself as well. But another point number 3, know what works for you, and that's very much what Dipesh is all about. He knows that, in order to get his thoughts together and to get his best ideas and to work as effectively as possible. He knows what he has to do. You're probably used to traveling on, the underground or a train or in your car, and that naturally splits up the actual working day. I'm talking to people who have probably recently gone remotely, but if you are used to having that sort of that regime where you've got natural gaps within your daily schedule, it can feel a little bit different when you're working remotely. So you have to be intentional about adding things to your schedule to break the day up. Dipesh does he goes on his PlayStation, which is fine. I think that's completely fine. If it takes you away from your work, you can't just sit in your room, sit down all day. Even if you go for a walk, get some fresh air. It's all about you, and this is all linked to your well-being, to your mindset. I used to just sit at my computer for the whole day because I thought that was the best way to go about work, and the best way to be productive is to work as hard as possible. And I learned from getting burnt out myself a few years back that is definitely not the way to go about it. So find different ways of breaking your day up, for not just for your physical well-being, but also your mental well-being as well. And that leads me quite nicely onto my next point, which is find ways of just having fun. Just have some fun in the day as well, because you can't just be, like I said, focused and serious throughout the whole day. Maybe you can, I don't know, but I can't. I can't be serious throughout the whole day. I have to have a bit of a laugh, or do something that's a bit different. Do something with people in my network. And again, that's probably another point which I could have added, but don't want to go into too much detail about that. But you need to have people in your network who, especially if you're working in isolation for the whole day, you have to have people in your network who you can have some fun with, even if it's people who you don't work directly with. You might have a good friend you can jump on a call with, or just do something different, or I don't know, just try to have fun in that working day to break things up. And you'll find that if you have a bit of a laugh, it can really help you to kind of get the pressure off, the pressure of work out of your mind for at least a little bit. So yeah, and that's my next point is it's not all about work. I mean, work is important, yes, and probably more so now. You want to deliver on your targets, on your the things that you've got planned out, but it's not all about work. And as I alluded to before, you have to look after your own personal mental and physical well-being. So it's not all about work. And I've got a bonus point for you actually as well, especially if you're managing a team. That point is be flexible, be empathetic, because again, we're in a situation where we need to understand that different people work in different ways. Each person within your team may be experiencing different challenges and different circumstances. So be flexible in terms of allowing them to do things that they feel are going to really help them to optimize their day-to-day work. And if they want to play on the PlayStation on their lunch break, or they feel that they need to take a break, even within, working the time that you feel is their allotted working time, if they feel that they need to take a break, allow them to do that, because that can only help them to recharge their batteries. They know how they work best. So enable them to have that that time where they can take that time out to do what they need to do in order to recharge their batteries, and just be flexible and empathetic. That's it for today's episode of the Remote Work Life podcast. If you want to watch exclusive on-demand video, including fireside chats and online lessons given by real-world remote work leaders, future of work experts and coaches, head over to www.remoteworklife.io. You'll learn how to get clarity on your career direction, how to thrive in a remote work culture, how to stay connected and develop and support your remote work teammates, and how to tend to your physical and mental health needs. Go to remoteworklife.io now and remember to connect with me, your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell, on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube.